Have you ever read a headline or seen a news clip that stuck in your mind all day, even though you weren't sure it was true? Or maybe you scrolled through social media and felt your anxiety spike, not because of anything in your own life, but from a story halfway across the world. Welcome back to Quieting Anxiety. I'm Dr. Monica Frank, and in today's episode, we're continuing a series of episodes focused on advanced cognitive techniques, practical tools that can help you go even deeper into changing anxious thinking patterns. If you're new to this podcast, I urge you to listen to the episodes in order. They build on one another, and the more advanced techniques we're covering now rely on skills introduced earlier. But first, let's begin with a sharp moment to prepare your mind for what we'll cover today. Take a comfortable breath in and exhale slowly. As you breathe, with each breath, imagine you're creating a little more space between yourself and the noise of the outside world. All the words, images, and events that compete for your attention each day. Without pushing anything away, simply allow the noise to soften in the background, as if you're turning down its volume. What remains is the calm clarity you bring to it. This is the mental space where you can decide how to receive and shape what comes toward you. As you continue to gently inhale and exhale, bring your attention to the topic of this episode. We're talking today about how media and social media influence our emotions, especially anxiety, and how to use an advanced CBT approach I call media cognitive filtering. This isn't about cutting off all news or deleting all your social media. It's about learning how to filter what you're taking in so it doesn't automatically feed your anxiety. This is an advanced topic because it's not just about reframing your own self-talk, but needing to reshape the messages from the world around you. Unfortunately, the world around you doesn't always have your best interest in mind. The media isn't really in the information business. It's in the money business. The more interesting the story, the longer you watch, and the more money they make. Most people know that news can be inaccurate. Surveys show the majority of people believe that. But here's the catch. Even when we know the news can be biased or wrong, it still influences us. Research has found that when people read or viewed exaggerated news reports, their memories became distorted, and not just with the exaggerated details. People added new details that weren't even in the original story. Why? Because emotionally charged stories trigger our imagination. We start filling in the blanks, and those imagined bits become part of our memory. It's like that old childhood game where you whisper a sentence down a line of kids, and by the time it gets to the last person, it's completely different. That's funny when it's about a silly sentence. Not so funny when the change creates fear, outrage, or anxiety. You might think the solution is to clearly label opinions as opinions and facts as facts. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. Researchers Amber Gaffney and colleagues tested this by showing people a news segment that was biased about the common cold. Some people were told afterward, "This is just opinion." Others were told, "This is based on research." It made no difference. Both groups shifted their beliefs to match the commentator. And when the news or opinion involves a threat to your health, your safety, or your future, Your emotional brain reacts before your rational brain has a chance to question it. If you already live with anxiety, that's like adding fuel to an already burning fire. This doesn't only happen with traditional media. Social media works in much the same way. In fact, it can be even more potent because the information is coming from people you know or at least feel connected to. On social media, not everyone has the goal of making money like a news network, but there are still agendas. Some people are looking for attention, approval, or to gain followers. Others, especially influencers, may have a financial interest, and their income depends on keeping you engaged and emotionally invested in what they post. Attention-grabbing posts often rely on the same emotional hooks as sensational headlines: fear, outrage, urgency, or a sense that something is personally relevant to you right now. It doesn't have to be fake to create anxiety. Even accurate events, framed in a certain way, can push your nervous system into threat mode. And because social media mixes personal updates, opinions, memes, and secondhand news, all without the context of a full article, you can end up reacting strongly to a post before you've had a chance to think it through. Just like with the news, this can pull you into the same anxiety loop of checking, reacting, and finding more content that keeps the cycle going. And what may surprise you is that although humor can be a wonderful way to lighten your mood, it's important to remember that it also affects you emotionally in ways that aren't always uplifting. A funny meme, a sarcastic joke, or a comedian's punchline can carry subtle messages, stereotypes, or exaggerations that shape how you think about people, events, or yourself. Sometimes humor pokes fun at situations in a way that relieves tension, but other times it can reinforce fears, create division, or make certain issues feel more threatening. Just as with news or opinion pieces, humor works through emotional hooks. In this case, laughter, surprise, or even discomfort. And those emotional reactions can still influence your thoughts and beliefs long after the joke is over. What this means is that the media, including social media, triggers the anxiety cycle. For people prone to anxiety, emotionally charged media isn't just background noise. It can trigger the same anxiety cycle we've talked about before. It often starts with a headline, video, or post that delivers a threat cue. Your body reacts before you even think about it. Maybe your heartbeat picks up, your muscles tighten, you feel a jolt of urgency. Then the anxious thoughts start. What if this happens here? What if it happens to me? From there, you might find yourself checking more news, scrolling more often, or digging deeper to get the facts. And the more you check, the more anxiety-provoking content you see. It becomes a self-reinforcing loop. The same pattern we've discussed with panic and worry, only this time the trigger is coming from your media feed. So what can you do about this media influence? The technique, media cognitive filtering, can help you recognize when the media is feeding your anxiety and how to address it. This skill is about actively deciding what you let through to your emotional brain. The first step is to notice the hook. Ask yourself if the headline, tone, or image is designed to grab you emotionally. The second step is to pause and label what you're seeing. This is opinion, or this is a dramatic framing to get my attention. Once you've labeled it, check the actual claim. What is being said exactly? Is there credible evidence behind it? Then check your own reaction. What am I feeling right now? Is my reaction based on the facts of the story or on the way the story was presented? One way to start protecting yourself is to recognize the signs of emotionally charged stories referred to as clickbait. Often, the story is built around a single dramatic instance, something rare or extreme, but it's presented as if it's a common, everyday danger. This framing makes it feel personally relevant and urgent, even if it's not representative of the bigger picture. Headlines like this might use vivid language, strong emotional words, or an image that tugs at your fear or outrage. If you notice that the story focuses on one isolated event without giving context or statistics about how typical it is, that's a good clue you're looking at content designed to hook your emotions first and inform you second, if at all. Finally, make a choice about whether engaging further will help you today or simply feed your anxiety. That choice point is where you take back some control. You might notice that certain news or opinion shows consistently leave you feeling tense or unsettled, no matter the topic. Or maybe you have a friend on social media whose posts are almost always negative, alarmist, or combative. Part of protecting your mental space is recognizing when to step back. Whether that means turning off a program, unfollowing an account, or muting a person who repeatedly triggers your anxiety. Here's something important. Changing your media habits might only make a small difference at first. Maybe lowering your anxiety from an 8 to a 7.8. That may sound insignificant. But CBT works by stacking small changes. A little relief from media filtering, a little more from mindfulness, another bit from challenging catastrophic thinking. Over time, those small changes add up to a much bigger shift. The difference between feeling on edge every day and feeling steady most days. Think of it like turning multiple small valves to lower the pressure in a pipe. One valve alone won't do much, but opening them all together and the pressure drops enough to make a real difference. So here's what I suggest. Reflect on how much your anxiety is influenced by outside sources, such as the media. To help do that, for the next 2 weeks, pay attention to the headlines, posts, or videos that make your anxiety spike. Write down what the actual claim is, but rewrite it in neutral language. Then rate your anxiety before and after reframing it. And notice what you're doing here. You're actually restructuring content that's out in the world before it takes up residence in your mind. As you do this, start noticing patterns. Are there certain sources that consistently get under your skin? Certain topics or types of presentations? When you know what pushes your buttons, you can make a conscious choice about whether to give that content space in your mind. The companion audio, Filtering the Noise, Reframing the Outside World, can help you create a mental filter that you can call to mind whenever the noise and messages of the world around you become overwhelming. You can't stop being influenced by media. None of us can. But you can decide how you want to be influenced. Media cognitive filtering is about regaining control over the messages you let into your emotional world and using that control to support all the other CBT tools you're practicing. Before we finish, take a moment to return to that sense of space you created at the start. Picture yourself receiving the world's input more thoughtfully. choosing how much weight to give it, and shaping it into something calmer and more balanced before it settles in your mind. Carry this idea with you that no matter where you are or what's happening around you, you have the ability to slow down your reaction and reshape the noise of the world into something that supports your well-being. Take one more steady breath and let that intention guide you through the rest of your day. And the next time you see a headline designed to spark outrage or fear, pause, notice it, and remember, you get to choose. Feed it or filter it. Until next time, keep practicing, keep breathing, and keep moving forward.